Ashley, you know
Yeah.
what I love?
What?
Feedback.
We do love it.
You know what I hate?
What?
Feedback.
Feedback.
Also feedback. Sometimes I hate
Also
feedback.
feedback sometimes.
I got a comment on a short about Talamasca that
Uh-huh.
had been published on our YouTube. And what happens with the shorts, they're great because people who don't normally listen to our content or watch our content sometimes see them, and that draws them into the whole thing. So that's wonderful. On the flip side, they're terrible because a lot of times people who don't normally listen to our content see them and they either don't have context at all, or worse, they have some wrong and incorrect context,
Oh
or
dear.
they are very angered by the very existence of the conversation. So I'm going to have to put my glasses on for this. I just realized because I need to read the comment.
Oh my
All right.
goodness.
In order for any Anne Rice novel to be accurately depicted on screen, it needs to have at least 50 episodes produced and directed by legitimate fans with full control of the project.
What?
The newest interlopers wasted extravagant money on critical flops because they never bothered to do any research on Rice's extensive background with historical ethics. Her novels are so flourished with accurate descriptions of time period actuality that whoever dropped the ball here has probably never read a complete Rice novel. Here's a tiny hint. We don't want wanton R-rated blood and gore unless it's organic to the plot. Rice's vampires don't want to waste a drop of blood. What jackass was in charge of this latest Lestat and Friends cartoon cow pie? Cartoon cow pie got me. Like I said, 50 episodes per novel, or you're all going to get it consecutively wrong. First of all, consecutively is not, I don't know what word you wanted there. Consistently, maybe. Consecutively is not the word you wanted. You may as well be a jackass and continue repeating the Shining reboots because King never complains about another 7-figure paycheck. Ooh, okay, first of all, slander to my man Steve was uncalled for. You were already picking a fight with one literary giant. Here's my comment. This is what I said. I said, man, you are in the wrong place if you don't like the IWTV TV series. We love it. And it's 100% true to the spirit of Anne's work. Also, maybe if you're going to spout as a purist online, you should know how to spell the author's name you're busy trying to defend. They had written Anne's name like 3 times in that comment, and every time they wrote ANN. Yep. So, clocked it, as the kids say.
Well, that's a tirade, boy. That's a tirade with a lot of silly demands. Number one, I don't want fans, an unqualified fan who does not have experience producing a television show making any of this. That's just silly talk.
Man, do you have the money to produce 50 episodes sight unseen?
Here's the thing, guys. No one's producing 24 episodes a season anymore. Like that, those days are gone. We're not doing that shit now. Nobody's doing that. This is what crypt did this person come out of? Like, what planet are they living on?
HBO Max literally went to the producers of ER and they went, hey, could you make us an ER show? And they were like, yeah, we could do that. And they were like, great. Could you make a bunch of them every year, like 15 of them every year? And then we record them in a way, make them in a way so that we can literally make 15 of them every year, just put it on the calendar. And they were like, yeah, we could do that. HBO was like, great, we got money for that. Even HBO didn't buy 50 episodes of The Pit. They didn't do it like up front. Not 50 of them.
No one's doing that, guys. No one's doing that.
Come on, man. Anyway,
Jesus.
yeah, I do understand that there are reasons to dislike just about anything, and maybe your reasons are valid. But when you come in, first of all, have you made any TV shows? Have you written any books? No, I didn't think so. If you had, you'd be too busy to come complain about somebody else's shit on my commentary about their shit. Like, what are you doing?
Not even, your complaints. Jesus Christ. People are bananas. But that is true. That's what you get. We put our opinions out there, so people are going to have opinions back, and that's fine. But
Indeed.
You're going to sound kind of silly to us.
Yeah, you're going to sound a little silly sometimes. Okay.
We're going to make fun of you behind your back.
Welcome to the Articulate Coven, the original, unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Immortal universe, the Vampire Chronicles, Lives of the Mayfair Witches, and the Immortal Universe TV series from AMC and AMC+. The Articulate Coven is Ashley and Joel, but it's supported by listeners just like you. Find out more at articulatecoven.com/join.
That's what I always tell people in retail. I ran this tea shop, and we had samples out there that we had to give people, and you had to offer samples to everybody. And this guy goes, "Well, what if I don't like that tea and I spit it out?" And I was like, "Well, sir, I'm going to judge you, and then I'm going to clean up your mess, and then my staff and we're going to make fun of you after you leave. And we're going to use a silly voice to talk about you. And that's how you are going to be known for the rest of your life to someone."
Man, okay. Welcome to the Articulate Coven.
Hello.
We are your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. We are the unofficial fan podcast, the original unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Immortal universe, her works, the books, the movies, adaptations thereof, and especially now we're discussing the AMC series that are going on currently. Talamasca, the third brand name, just got wrapped up, and I'm excited to talk about it with you all. Many of you have said many things. I'm going to try to take a good sampling and go through and get, a sousson of each different topic, as it were.
La.
I'm going to start with this one, and I thought this was very accurate. Our friend Zach Brahani, great patron, and one of the folks who came with us to New Orleans this Halloween, says 1 minute and 39 seconds into this season finale for the Talamasca, and all I have to say is, what in the love butt baby between Rod Stewart and Tarantino's Pulp Fiction is going on here? It was a confusing set of circumstances to start this episode for sure.
It was.
That finale episode. And I got to tell you, I was very glad. Let's talk a little bit about some of the confusing stuff. Let's start right there.
Okay.
I want to go to Nancy Ward. There we go. Okay. Nancy Ward commented when she finally got to see the season finale. This made me feel better too. We talked about how I was blindsided by the Doris thing. I was blindsided by the vampire part of it. I was blindsided by this. Even I was pretty deep into the episode before I went, oh, the 752 is a person. Anyway, Nancy says, did not see any of that coming. I figured the one twin's photographic memory would be important at some point, but wasn't expecting all of that. Thoroughly enjoyed each episode and the series as a whole. Yes, Nancy, very thankful that I am not the only one there. Also, Derek Lord said on our Patreon, I thought that Doris might be Helen's niece that had the same name as her mother. I was slow to get it. So thank you, Derek. I'm glad I was not alone.
That. I love that.
I did not see Doris being a vampire as a thing, Derek says. Yeah, I did not either. I was super surprised by it. So there is we didn't mention it yet because we didn't know about it until last week after the finale, after our finale episode had been recorded. But there is on AMC Plus a Inside the Talamasca. It's about 45 minutes long, covers the whole first season. And the very end of that, slight spoiler for that documentary piece behind the scenes that you can go watch, there is a tease of the next case. They do not come out and say second season. They hint at that even in the episode Insider piece at the end of the finale episode on AMC Plus, which, by the way, the whole season, 6 episodes in a row, every single episode Insider, the audio mix was bad. How do you do that for a whole season?
They probably did them all at once, produced them,
Sure.
and had them like just ready to spit out, and then did not care that anything was messy with it did not care enough to go back and fix it.
This little spit and baling wire and duct tape operation that we got going here, several times I've put out an episode where something's haywire. They're like, hey, Ashley's audio is a little low. Or one time I put out one where you could hear Ashley, but you couldn't hear me. The whole episode, you couldn't hear my voice for some reason.
Just
So, like,
me
when I get the
cackling
comment about
derangedly.
that, I'm just saying, the first time I got feedback and somebody was like, hey, Joel, have you noticed the episode's fucked up? I go and I fix the episode. I go and I fix the thing.
We fix
Anyway,
it. We do.
I don't want some editor to lose their job, but like AMC, just have it fixed. Just have them fix it and replace the files. Okay.
Yeah. You could even do that now and we'd be happy because then we could go and watch them and not.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And listen to them. Actually hear what the fuck they're trying to say. Okay. I want to acknowledge Eileen Say.
Okay.
She's been a great commenter for a long time in the group, period.
Fabulous.
But specifically for this show, she nailed so much of this along the way.
Holy shit.
She guessed the 752 was a person like several episodes ago.
Yeah.
This was she was one of the main things that you and I were having to be like, I don't know.
I can't even go into that. I could not even go into that speculation because I already knew.
I'm fairly certain she guessed that she was Helen's sister. And I think then that conversation led to either her or somebody else going, oh, maybe she was a vampire already. Which, of course, the fact that Doris is a vampire, makes it make sense now why Jasper would not have immediately thrown open the back of the trunk and like ripped her out of there. He probably, based on if they weren't of the same lineage, if they weren't maker fledgling, there you go, maker fledgling, then he should have been able to at least perceive a presence somewhere nearby, maybe. But if Doris was skilled at blocking herself, then he wouldn't have been able to like, oh, there's a girl in the back seat.
Yeah.
Okay, but Eileen, specifically on this finale episode, commented and posted a picture of young Elizabeth McGovern.
Oh,
like a very young Elizabeth McGovern, and a slightly younger version of the actress playing Doris, and said, so what do y'all think? Believable as twins? And tagged me. Yes, okay, I can see it. There is definitely some facial structure that goes there, and they did mention in one of the episodes, either the episode Insider or the Inside documentary, the full-length documentary, they talked about this specifically, that they tried to track down someone that looked like her. I would say not a perfect match, but they do look similar. It's closer than I would have guessed, closer than I thought. And, it makes sense. Here's my thing. I don't think those two young ladies look any more alike than my fraternal twins do. And they're definitely not identical twins. That's my point.
Right.
On that broader issue, somebody else made this point. Let me see if I can find the specific comment. The twin thing. There we go. Okay. KKS2360 on YouTube. The twin thing didn't work for me because her DNA wouldn't match her sister's anymore since she was turned into a vampire. I know this is fantasy, but genetics still has rules, and one of them is that different species have different DNA. So vampire DNA is not going to be the same as human DNA. Okay. I do think she sort of has a point there. I will say the blood would definitely not be the same.
Right. But would touch DNA
would a DNA test, would like DNA left over from fingerprints be noticeably, and here's the other thing too, they're not testing for vampirism, right? They're not examining every aspect of this DNA. They're trying to match it against a database, and they sort of think they have their person. Okay. I get your point, and I do appreciate that you brought it up. I think the way that vampirism works in Anne's books, you could probably squint at this and be like, yeah, I guess that would probably still work. I think it's a cheap out. I think the writers are better than this, and I hope for better twists and turns in future seasons.
I think they probably decided what they were going to do early and then did not necessarily address all of the ins and outs of that,
Yes,
that's how
that is a very good point. Okay. Let me see. I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the other big theories that everybody had, especially late in the season as we got the trailer for this final episode, was Houseman going to be David Talbot? I've even seen people say, is Houseman maybe still David Talbot? Is it possible that a body thief situation may have already happened? No, on all of those fronts. I do think Houseman is going to be an antagonist. I do think they are setting some things up so that we could have Houseman as a rival to David and David coming in to clear out the Talamasca, which will be really interesting since effectively as soon as he does it, he'll go join the vampires probably, but that's neither here nor there. Let's don't count our David Talbots before they hatch.
No. We've had several misleads as we've gone down this path, so.
In the books, this comes from David Brown. In the books, they mostly observed, he's talking about the Talamasca here. They mostly observed. In this show, they are plotting and involved with the vampires, letting them know they are being watched, which I don't agree with 100%. In the books, I got the impression that only the most ancient vampires knew about the Talamasca. In the show, the Talamasca are almost trying to control them. So yes, I sort of agree with you there. We definitely do not have this exact storyline does not play out in the novels anywhere.
No, but I do think like I don't necessarily think every vampire out there knows what the Talamasca is. We are seeing a few vampires that are in the know and that are using that power, using that knowledge to their advantage, or as much to their advantage as they can, to drive their own kind of agenda. Like Jasper has his own agenda. He happens to know about the Talamasca, is using the Talamasca to help drive his agenda. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Mark Duke says, I just remembered this morning that Jasper was given 16 mortals to make into vampires. Now, we think that. I counted the bodies. It felt like 16 to me, but we might not have been seeing the whole room there. Maybe I miscounted.
Right.
But he pointed out that Jasper mentions in his backstory that there were 17 members of his family that were killed, his vampiric family, that were killed in the revenge killing that led to his origin story, effectively, back in the 1920s. Does that mean that he was supposed to replace his family effectively? Like, was that number supposed to be symbolic in some way? And if so, who's is Jasper the 17th, or is Guy supposed to be the 17th, et cetera, et cetera?
All right. I like that.
That is interesting. I like that idea too.
That's a good catch.
I got the thought that this was just the room that they thought he could accomplish without being reloaded. Okay, I think you can get this many done without it being a problem.
Without needing a transfuge.
And then we will do more afterwards, Since this comes from Lori Yancey, since he wasn't turned by the Talamasca, who seems to want to create weak vampires, which I assume is for the purposes of being able to keep them under control, would Jasper be considered a weak vampire? I wonder if we'll get further backstory on him and who his maker is. Okay, lots of discussion. This is where we'll go right now. Let's talk about Jasper's strength. So first of all, we talked in our episode breakdowns about Jasper's recovery from the burning. He gets lit up. He is very burnt.
Fucks him up.
Yeah, real badly. And then he recovers over the course basically of like an episode and a half and has very minimal scarring by the time he is wrapping things up in this show. Okay. And obviously the scarring is going away too already. How strong is Jasper? First of all, how much of the ancient blood did Jasper have? Did he have the one vial that he took from Guy, which Guy was given by Raglan James? Or, and this is what I think, that whole hotel operation was about selling this ancient blood, right?
Yeah.
The ancient vampire was right there, got his head ripped off by Jasper. Okie dokie. Do you think they were selling Raglan James all the ancient vampire blood they had?
Right.
My thinking is probably no.
Keep a little supply for myself just in case.
So my guess is that Jasper had more than just the one vial, maybe even like a lot. And he might have had a lot of it. So Jasper may be significantly stronger at the end of this season than he was at the beginning of the season. Still, I would say Lestat from the books anyway. Now, whether Lestat in the show is already at this point that strong or not, I don't know. We do know in the course of the next few adventures he gets significantly stronger. My point is, when they come face to face, Lestat probably has his better already, and will get that distance will get further apart. But my guess is Jasper's stronger now than the Talamasca would really want him to be, honestly, making all these vampires. That's my broader point.
Well, and I don't know necessarily that they want every vampire they make to be weak. They wanted Doris to be weak because they needed to be able to control her. So
we don't even know what Houseman wants with them, right? Why does Houseman want more vampires to start with?
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of Houseman, Jason Revington says, I'm glad Houseman wasn't David, but now we have an opening for a top person in the London Mother House. I really enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed the season as a whole. I did not see the whole Doris storyline. That being said, I love the twist and love that she is a weak vampire. And it is great to have an actual walking, talking Talamasca encyclopedia around for storytelling purposes.
Right.
Not to mention, right, it's very convenient. It's very convenient to have. I mean, think about how often Buffy and the gang would be confronting some new evil, and Giles would go, well, I believe I remember a tome from Irish folklore.
Exactly.
Let me go consult the library. Anyway, yeah, very much.
Doris doesn't have to cross-reference.
Yeah, exactly. Not to mention her instant recall memory also makes for a great tool in the espionage genre of this show. Plus, the actress is lovely, so I want to continue seeing her on my screen. Yeah, very much agree with that. Okay, and then someone else commented, Megan Warner says, oh, I didn't even realize that this means the London Mother House has a leadership position open. And of course, currently it doesn't. The London Mother House does have a leadership position open because Houseman is in charge of Amsterdam. But my point is, I don't think David will just take the London Mother House. I think David will take I think he'll be Director General when this is all said and done, if they do bring in David anyway.
If they bring him in. Which is our big IF at this moment. It's such a good chance for them to course correct with David, and I really hope it happens. Like, this has been the best opportunity to get him in there.
Okay, still as we sit here recording this on the blackest of Fridays, no renewal for season 2 for this show yet. Now, okay, they took quite a while, I will say, to announce the season 3 renewal for Mayfair. We thought it was done, and then 2 months later, they were like, we're coming back for season 3. And we were all like, really?
And then they were like, and we're going to Salem. And we were like, what? What?
So I don't think this is a done deal, and first of all, I do think it's a done deal already. I think we do have a season 2 renewal. I just think for whatever reason they are not announcing it yet.
They're hanging on to it.
I mean, I can't imagine that they would wait until April, along with the Vampire Lestat to say this, and it may be that they will limit their promotion of Talamasca season 2. Because it will in some way spring from the storyline of the Vampire Lestat.
It could.
Listen, we've already seen, I can't remember now who it was, but I think it was Mark Johnson's, one of the producers on Mayfair that is connected to Mark Johnson somehow. I think maybe his former assistant or something. They were posting on Instagram from the set of Mayfair Witches. And I believe it's episode 3 that they were discussing has an interview with a vampire crossover of some sort.
Ooh.
There was none of the images that they posted had a character that I noticed, or that's what the crossover is going to be. But my point is, they are drawing this universe tighter together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we should expect that to continue. So I think that it is entirely possible that these are dominoes that are falling in order. Like we've previously mentioned, the MCU doesn't really ramp up, promoting one movie until the previous movie has already run, because there's going to be connected storylines and spoilers and et cetera.
Spoilers, absolutely. Yeah, that's really. And if they are tightening it up and really, really starting to thread everything together like we hope and think they might be, I think that that's going to be a natural sort of consequence of it.
Megan Warner, by the way, another great comment. I've been seeing some general confusion around the internet about Jasper's plan and the Great Conversion, which was mentioned previously on interview by Raglan James. He says there's a brute from Madagascar who has this plan of the Great Conversion. Here's how I understand it. I think the goal is to get enough of a vampire population that they can go public and or force the Talamasca to stop exploiting them and give them power. Like I learned from iZombie, you got to build numbers before you let the public find out about you, or else the government will just eliminate you all. Having a large population of weak vampires would probably be better for vampire public relations, because the mortals would underestimate them and not be as terrified as they'd be if they knew all the stuff vampires can do.
Yeah.
So that just leaves the question of what Amsterdam's goals for this are. Good read, Megan. That is, I think that is absolutely a fair read on the Great Conversion. I wonder, and I think I've mentioned this previously, but just since they seem to be leaning further in this direction, how does the Great Conversion align or intersect with Akasha's plan as it's going to play out in the series? We know what Akasha's plan is in the books. I don't know necessarily that they're going to just go anyway with the destruction of basically 2/3 of men. Maybe it's that, or maybe it's even more than that, right? She kills 9 and 10 or something. Anyway, I don't think it's just going to be that necessarily. And I do think these plans are either going to be aligned, and maybe Akasha has been slowly seeding this idea all along through her mental connection to the tribe, or it is in opposition to what Akasha plans to do in some fashion. And that is the reason, or one of the reasons why she's going to rise, is because this is kind of coming to a head. I do think those are going to be connected, is my point.
Creating a whole shitload of vampires and just letting them loose on the world, it's a very dangerous thing to do. You know what I mean? And it's dangerous to the elders for people to find out about it. So I do think that it's probably going to be in opposition to it. That's my take.
This is Casey Forrester with a great comment. I knew someone that age being named Doris was sus.
Yes. True. You don't run into a lot of Dorises in their mid-20s, mid to late 20s, early 30s in this day and age.
LK Cullen 1918 over on YouTube said this season almost felt like a prologue. Maybe that's why there were only 6 episodes, to tee us up. And to be honest, I had a good time. I gotta say that whole weird clinical vampire mass breeding that's kind of maybe not super consensual sometimes is totally Anne Rice adjacent. I was like, yeah, this makes sense in this universe, actually. I gotta say, maybe Anne hasn't exactly tiptoed through those tulips, but she's come fairly close sometimes. I actually really like Helen and Guy's scenes. I hope we get more of them interacting. Also, some stuff from interviews has hinted that this might not be the last we see of Jasper, so that would be interesting to see where that goes. Or if Jasper ever finds out way too late that the pretty girl was his book that he's been hunting for this whole damn time. That is very interesting. I do like that. Oh, okay. I mentioned that some people had still asked, even after the finale, if Houseman is connected to Talbot. TV Addict 6623 makes this point, and I think it's a good one. The name Houseman seems suspicious when we are working towards a body thief storyline. However, that's probably just me overthinking.
Yeah.
Hinky Doo says overall 3, maybe a 4 for episode 4. Episode 4 was my favorite, by the way. Episode 4 was the best one. There were several good ones, but episode 4 was the one that rose. Yeah, rose. There we go. I was like, I had to conjugate for a minute.
It rose above.
It rose above the rest. And I think it I don't know. That's if you were going to nominate one episode from this season, that would be the one. I feel like, you're not going to, this is not that kind of show exactly.
No. No.
Okay, let's see. Joel, this comes from Alfie Holmes. That scene from the cold open takes place in Amsterdam HQ in 1985. That's what the title card says. So first of all, in our screeners, I don't think we had a title card before that scene. So 1985 is when she is turned. Okay, that's when Doris was turned. The two guys
You're
look
totally right. We
very.
didn't have any title cards in any of
No,
this.
there were no title cards on the. Oh, well, so okay, but we did though get a date for the Talamasca library burning.
Was there?
Yeah, it was like 70. It was 73, 74 or something. It
Okay.
happens before Doris is made. The two guys look very 80s, some insane mullets, and they are talking about the song We Are the World, which came out in 1985, which I totally missed. If this scene took place in the late 60s or in the 70s, that would mean Helen was around 70, 80 years old now. That's way too old. Elizabeth McGovern is 64. Good catch, Alfie. Thank you for putting all of that together for me, and thank you for pointing out. See, again, like every now and again, that is something, and I would just in general file this away for yourself. Give reviewers and recappers a little grace, because chances are they're working with screeners, and sometimes you'll miss something like, for instance, title cards on scenes for dates. Okay. Low Queen says on YouTube, love all the recaps and yes to season 2, please. My only major criticism, and I don't know if it's because of budgets, but why 6 episodes? I hope for season 2 we get 8, because there are too many storylines that need to be fleshed out, which I don't think they can do in another 6-episode season. 6 is really like, you just get me. What's the line from Oh Brother Where Art Thou? It aroused my appetite without bedding it back down again. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, it's not quite enough to really get much done. It really isn't. But
you have.
I mean, they
Go
laid
ahead.
out so much. They laid out so much with this first season of this show. I don't. Their intention was never to wrap any of that up. You know what I mean? To wrap all of it
No,
up.
yes.
So their approach has been, we're definitely getting a second season, and I think that, like, they're probably keeping in mind how they're pacing it over the course of the number of episodes they think they're gonna get. You know what I mean? Like, this one is a little
Yeah.
bit more experimental than the other 2. This one's a different genre than the other 2, like, it's just, there was a lot I think that they were probably trying to test the waters for, but had a good feeling that they would probably be moving forward with it,
M5713M on YouTube says, I also liked that the book and the flash drive turned out to be misdirects. Kevis's reveal was just enough for me. I kind of poo-pooed that. I said, okay, here's what you do with 8 episodes. Give me one full episode of Kevis and Doris, like their whole story from the beginning. I really don't need a whole episode about her relationship with Doris. The only part that pulled me out of it was Emma choosing Doris as her new name. Why would anyone voluntarily choose such an old lady name? Lol. So I'm not quite sure why some reviewers felt the pacing was too fast. If anything, I wish the other episodes had moved a little quicker and tightened the plot. It's fine for the premiere to be slower, but the rest should be more like episode 4 with all the wild stuff happening on the ground. Give me more field action instead of endless walking. Honestly, Lafferty and Hancock should watch Slow Horses and take notes. Okay, I know you don't because you're not an Apple TV person, but I know a lot of our audience does. Ashley, this one's going to be the reason why you're going to get Apple TV. Slow Horses it's based on a series of novels. I haven't watched it yet myself, but I know, as much as I know I would like it, you would eat it up so much. It's
Excellent.
like,
there's a really good deal on Apple TV right now.
it's loser spies, basically, right? It's like
Whoa.
low-level spies that are sort of shunted off to the side, but they
Okay.
keep being successful in their efforts. Gary Oldman's like the leader of the team, I think.
Oh, shit.
It's based on a book series, and the way that they're shooting it, I think the episodes, I think it's like 8 episodes a season or something like that, or 7 episodes, whatever, but they're shooting them 2 seasons at a time. So when you get to the end of a season, and they drop weekly whenever they drop, you get to the end of the season, they're showing you a trailer for the next season, and it's going to come out in 6 months. So like, you don't ever have to wait a whole year for Slow Horses.
2 fucking years, 2.5.
Exactly. Okay. Yes, absolutely. From everything that I've heard about Slow Horses, they do it again. Slow Horses is not like the greatest television ever made or anything, but just like turn this up a little bit. Talamasca's not bad, but we could get closer to the quality of interview. And I'm fine with multiple genres. I'm fine with telling different kinds of stories. I'm even fine with different production levels. But like, if you're gonna mix these all up into a stew eventually, I think we got to do a little bit better.
Yeah, elevate it.
Okay. In the THR article, Arc H4M4 says on YouTube, in the THR article about Talamasca, it definitely sounded like they were talking to Rollin, so things lined up with interview.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I think, again, as we said, there's going to be more and more connections. It's obvious they already did. First of all, they got Daniel, right? Which is a step up from what Mayfair got with Lestat's little cast-off sidekick from the end of season 1, showing
Right.
up in Jackson Square with Lasher. Like, this show had, and again, I think that's partially on Mark Johnson as he draws everything a little closer together. Even for Mayfair, though, like, they're doing things, whether they're going to Salem or not, it does seem like they have taken some of the criticism, and the new showrunner that is coming in to assist Esta or whatever he's doing,
Mm-hmm.
maybe he will have more. Maybe he will have read a book, or some of a book at least.
Pray,
Mm.
mayhaps. We're gonna hope so. I love him. He's a really, I mean, he does good work. So I've good hope, big hope in my heart. Though I don't want to get screwed over by Mayfair again. I'm not gonna lie. Like
I'm
I
not going to
fucking
hope too hard. Yeah.
keep having hope and then just getting it trashed. It's I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship with the Mayfair witches.
Andromeda says, I have to say that Nicholas's accent, she means Nicholas Denton,
Mhm.
Guyana Toll. Nicholas's accent was a little wonky in this episode. He's had a bit of a hard time keeping the American accent throughout the season, but it was particularly inconsistent this time around. It pulls me out of the experience a little, especially when I think about the impeccable accent work in Interview with the Vampire. Okay, here's an interesting question, Ash. Why make him American at all? Why not just rewrite it and have him start in England?
Well, isn't he Australian?
Yes, but an English accent's closer to an Australian accent. Like, I mean, you could. Why not make him Australian in that
I
case?
mean,
Like,
they
I don't
probably wrote
understand.
they probably wrote the character before they cast it.
Yeah, but I mean, have you all? They didn't film. They didn't film any of this in New York, by the way. The scenes with was watching the first part of the documentary, the 45-minute documentary about it, and I was watching the scenes with Jason
Schwartzman?
Jason Schwartzman. Yeah, those were filmed in Manchester. Those were filmed in England. Which, by the way, you know how Jason Schwartzman ended up on this show? His brother was shooting the thing.
Oh, shut up. That's hilarious.
Hancock and Schwartzman's brother and Jason had all worked together on a previous project, and he was going to be film. I think he was like the cinematographer or something for
That's
several
hilarious.
episodes. I don't think he was a director. I think he was a cinematographer, but he was working on the project already. And they were like, "Hey, what's Jason doing? Actually, can
That's
we bring it? We've
hilarious.
got this vampire." So that was sort of kind of a last minute thing, I think, that he was added in. But yeah, I don't think they shot any. I think they shot this all in England. So like, why we don't have to pretend to go to Miami is my point to see, the surrogate, the foster mom or whatever. Like,
Right, but I mean, they're not gonna
I don't know.
rewrite the whole script after they
I
find the guy that they want.
suppose.
They're
All
just gonna
right, all right.
get him a dialect coach and, like, hope for
Poo-poo
the
me
best.
with reality then, Ashley. That's fine. What happened to Yes Ann?
I yes and a lot, Joel. I just feel like that's got a good explanation, which is probably that script was written way before they cast an Aussie.
Okay. Kayla Ann Schneider on Facebook says, during the first scene where the Talamasca forced the change, I had an inkling that it could be Emma or the 752. We've
Mhm.
gotten the impression several times that it wasn't actually a book. Yeah, definitely they had given it. They were like, hey, these are probably subterfuges that
Well,
we're giving
Doris
you
even
here.
says that Kevis's book is a scrapbook. Like, she tells Guy that.
Eventually, yes.
Like,
Well, oh, you mean early? Yes. She's like, oh,
early
it's a
on,
scrapbook.
she's like,
Then
"It's
she's
a
like, no, but
scrapbook.
really, it was
It's a
just a
fucking scrapbook." Like, that's hilarious to me that was not a lie, you know?
I certainly had no hopes of Houseman secretly being David Talbot because David would never have abided those monstrosities. Yeah,
Right.
strong agree. If you bring David
Yeah.
in and you make him
And make him Houseman, you'd have
blackmail a
fucked him
vampire,
up. You'd
yeah,
fucked him up. Yeah.
you want to see me riot about this show, I would not have been happy with that.
No, no, no,
Um,
no.
I do love how the vibe of the fancy robes and cigars is exactly the kind of club I think of when I imagine the Talamasca. Yes, the London mother, and we've said this already.
Fireplaces and books everywhere.
Yeah,
And
yeah, really nice libraries. Just
yeah,
really nice libraries as
a
far as
lot
the
of
Aggies.
places to curl up on a chair and read a book that you
And
probably shouldn't be
just
reading.
so much money. You're really the kind of
Mhm.
motherfucker who asks why the poors don't use their rainy day fund, like, yeah. Um, I believe Raglan was the first to mention the Great Conversion, so it being a secret Talamasca directive fits. It's just so grotesque. I don't think Jasper is exactly a fan of their method either. I think she's right. I think Kayla's right. Jasper does not look exactly pleased at the
Yeah.
end there. However, you said it already. This is a matter of like differing agendas sometimes aligning,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Overall, Ashley, I think the audience, the listeners, the folks in our Facebook group, our patrons, pretty much genuinely agree with you versus me on
Mhm.
Talamasca. They're all a little bit more positive on it than I was and about where you were on it. Again, it's not an interview, but it's way better than
Right.
we might have expected or
It's
hoped.
it's giving us a little something that we didn't have before,
A
you know?
little something.
A
Yeah, a
little
little
something,
something.
something, a little something, something that we didn't have
Okay.
before, and it's a little different, and I like it. I'm here for it.
I want to talk a little bit about the reactions and responses to a couple of videos that you and I made. We reacted to the official trailer.
Mm.
Uh, I called the video "Sooner is better than later, but later is better than never," which I love when I can reference a Sondheim song in the title of an episode. Um, we also made the "In Defense of Ferns" video.
Yes, which I was hilarious. I was like, "This
Um,
this clip is very short, but we're gonna have some opinions on it."
we had some really good responses to both of those. I want to talk about those for a second. So on the In Defense of Ferns video, I've got to go look at this on Patreon. Hang on, here we go.
My brother and his girlfriend have a fern at their home right now that they named Fern Brady after a very funny Scottish comedian. Um, so great.
Zach Brahani commented on the video even before it had become available publicly. I had posted that it was going to drop, and so patrons could go and comment on it. And Zach did immediately. He says, "A 10-minute video based on a 35-second clip. My kind of people."
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, "This is a very short clip, but we're definitely gonna unload on it."
To be fair, we did 2 clips in that 10-minute, Zach, but yes, we did overdo it a little bit.
It's
Mel
so
Rosina
funny.
says, "Thank you for this commentary. I honestly did not get the teaser at first. Then I proceeded to watch it 158 times. Important other notes.
Yes.
Lestat, you are old people." He talks about, "This is a room where old people
Old
say,
people
'Do
say
not let me die in this room.'" 2, there was a fern in the room of that ancient vampire that Jasper released from its pain that aired the week after this.
Oh, shit.
I do not think that was, I think that was very much on purpose. Genuinely. I do think that was the team teasing there together.
Ooh, that is hilarious if they did that on purpose. Oh.
Tanya said, "Ramping up is right. I love just waiting, just waltzing over to the YouTube page and seeing the counts. The number of views don't lie. People are excited for this show to get here already.
Mhm.
And I think they recognize this and they should. I mean, dang, I subscribed to AMC Plus only for this show. Admittedly, I have found other things to watch on there, but
Mhm.
still, IWTV is the main reason." Yeah, 100%. I think, listen, there are shows that you do for ratings, and there are shows that you do that are supposed to, like, they're like pace cars, right? Like sometimes if you're a car company, you got to build a race car, not because you're going to sell that many of them necessarily, but because as a car company, you should have a race car to be like, "Hey,
Right.
we can make this too," right?
We can
Yeah,
do this. It's in our wheelhouse.
AMC needs to have, for it, here's a great example. another Apple TV plug. I haven't watched it yet, but supposedly Pluribus is amazing. It's the new show from Vince Gilligan, the creator
Oh,
of
love
Breaking
him.
Bad. Okay.
Love him.
Yeah. Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and other things too. But
He
that's
did a lot of
Vince Gilligan's
X-Files
new.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's his new jam, and Apple got it. AMC didn't get it, right? AMC needs in every, generation. Yes, they need 15 versions of The Walking Dead that have giant
Yeah.
ratings on cable.
Yeah. But they
But
need
they
a Breaking
also
Bad in
need
there.
they need a show that says, hey, we make high art, actually. We can be discussed with the FXs and the HBOs and the Netflixes now and the Apple TVs. I mean, Apple TV is doing a great job. They've got Oscars already. They've got a bunch of Emmys, and they continue to do so. So, like, AMC wants to be in that conversation. Interview is the kind of show that gets them there. I think we will continue to see, appreciation for that. All right. Let's talk about blood piss, Ashley.
That's right. We did talk about blood piss.
Okay, first of all, Charlene says, I think the blood piss thing works for this universe, and here's why. In the books, any bodily fluids they still have are blood, or blood tinged, tears and sweat. But in the books, they don't have sex or have to go to the bathroom. She's right. They do not eat. They put food in their mouth and they have to throw it up. What we've found in the show is they can eat, they just don't have much taste for it, right? Like Louis says, everything kind of tastes like chalk. So he doesn't eat very much as a general rule, but they can partake. We've already seen them in the teasers and various things drinking. We've seen them smoking, et cetera, et cetera. So in the show, they do still have sex, so they have a few more bodily functions and fluids. So if they can fuck, then perhaps they have to piss too. As it's a bodily fluid, it's also blood. That's how I'm justifying it anyway. Okay, and I really like that idea, but it got expanded upon on the YouTubes. Let me see.
Oh, excellent. I love that we're spending this much time talking about blood piss. It makes me really happy.
It really tells you who our people are, I think, honestly.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. This comes from Tish W on YouTube. The way I raced here when I saw you were reacting to the trailer, finally the circle is complete. Okay, the blood piss. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't immediately keen on it, but having mulled it over, I think that it's as simple as the writers deciding that vampires having a way to excrete excess liquid makes sense. If you only ever drink blood, maybe you can say the vampiric body is a closed, totally efficient system. But if you're drinking alcohol as well, as we see the vampires do, or drinking a lot of blood, surely all the excess stuff needs to go somewhere. And this, Ashley, I've never once thought about where the blood goes when they gorge themselves, but they do on occasion. Like Lestat talks about, and we see the ancient blood god that Pandora goes to visit in Queen of the Damned, who's literally just ripping people apart, right?
People, yeah.
Which, by the way, you want to talk about messy vampires. Some of the vampires are messy, by the way. It's just Lestat that tends to be a clean freak.
So fastidious.
Okay. This is in line with the show making vampires more realistic and grounded in gritty reality, like them having normal human skin, wrinkles, frizzy hair when you're Lestat in Humid New Orleans, for instance, and with having sex. Even the vampires in the show being messy eaters, while it is mainly about the horror aesthetics that we've talked about, it's also the fact that drinking blood is messy. Basically, I have talked myself around to the blood piss after initially being like, ooh. Also, I find it funny that Louis just never mentioned it because he is too classy. Okay, and I don't know that I can find the comment there, but someone else pointed out the blood piss goes very much in line with the fact that we're getting a rewrite of Louis' story in some ways from Lestat already. For instance, we've talked about Lestat's scars on his chest that were not there when we saw Lestat in previous seasons. Why? Because we were seeing through Louis' eyes, and Louis never mentioned the scars. Or I guess technically we were seeing through Daniel's eyes, and Daniel was never told about the scars. Daniel was never told about the blood piss, so we didn't hear about the blood piss until now. Maybe I could talk myself into that, and I sort of love that our audience trusts Rollin so implicitly They've just put this together for themselves.
Yeah.
They've like,
We're just
hey, we know.
now we
We're
piss
good.
a little blood. It's fine.
We're
Piss a little
all
blood.
good. Okay, two more things that I want to say specifically about that. First of all, more than one person told me we really need to redo this again and slow down and go frame by frame because there is more for us to talk about. We're not going to do that, but kudos. We will be reacting to more. We're going to try to do the panel if we can get to it. We're going to try to do some of the interviews around New York Comic-Con that came out. Okay. This is from Psychedelic Pegasus. They say Louis' lawyer is played by musician Moses Sumney, who Daniel Hart and Rollin mentioned in the influences and inspiration for the music. He is definitely a vampire and is such an incredibly gorgeous looking fella.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so the lawyer is also a musician, which
I love it.
The fucking random things that we see. All right, I will give this little thing. Here's a couple of glimpses of things we missed because we didn't do it frame by frame. Mouse 2390 says, "Did you catch the shot of handless Nikki?" No, we didn't. Oh my.
Jesus.
Already.
Oh.
Also, there's a quick glance of Dr. Fareed smoking a doobie. No, I had missed that. I definitely would have called out the doobie. Okay, and I'm going to do it wrong here anyway. Asad's name is pronounced with the accent on the first syllable. Asad, I think, is the way that I'm supposed to do that. The other guy we see in the concert besides Louis is the same guy we assume to be Magnus. And several other people, by the way, said, yes, that is Magnus. It's the actor that has been confirmed that he's going to play Magnus. I don't like, this is Mouse 2390. I don't like the vampire piss. Seems cheap and gimmicky to me, but the show is not just for book readers, so the uninitiated will probably get a kick out of it, just like the messy blood. Fingers crossed. Yeah. I hope there's an in-show book that Lestat puts out. It was a big part of his fame and kind of the impetus for the others to write their books too. Yes. Okay. So that is my one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody writes a book. I say everybody. Everybody doesn't write a book, but several other vampires end up writing a book or talking about the fact that Lestat keeps writing his, you know, because Lestat puts out his book. I guess it's fine to put that all on Louis, though, like, honestly, and it would make sense in the series that is centering Louis a bit more than the books do as we go on. So I don't know. Okay, here's the final one, because this is a good thought. Sandra Taylor 5006 on YouTube says, "Hey guys, don't hate me, but I wouldn't be opposed to both Lestat and Armand working the crowd at the theater." So we talked about the fact that we get glimpses in that trailer of Delaney burning, and so we're going to revisit the trial. Yeah. Neither of them knowing the other doing it is what Sandra's saying here, that Lestat and Armand are both working the crowd and they don't realize the other's doing it too. Armand scrambling on the scripts could have been a plant for the others to see. I am ready to stand corrected, of course. Also, there was a vampire movie with the guy pissing blood. He flew an airplane and used the same as his resting place. That's interesting, man, having an airplane that you just fly around in so you avoid the sun all the time. That would be nice. Yeah, okay, there you go. Mostly about blood piss this time, it turns out, that feedback. Yeah. But
you know, it's fine. We had a lot.
There's a lot of it.
There's a lot to think about. We didn't realize at first that there were two different people pissing blood. That was exciting to realize.
Right. You know. Okay, couple of things, business before we get done. As you are listening to this, the folks who purchased the pre-sale of our live stream for 2026 will be able to purchase their actual tickets Monday, December 1st. Those go on sale for the folks who have pre-sale access. If you are not currently a patron, even at the free level, I would strongly suggest that you go and become at least a free patron, because when we are allowed, however many tickets are left after those pre-sale folks get in, when I know the amount that we can sell to the public, the patrons will get the first chance to buy those as well. So before we go to the public, we'll go to our patrons, including the free ones. Go and join the Patreon, articulatecoven.com/join. Although $2 or more a month gets you access to everything we do early and ad-free, including the Afterlife segment, which is coming right after this. We've got a whole nother discussion that's going on. We're going to be talking about, well, we are talking about and have been already, going to continue for the next several weeks. We're talking about Welcome to Derry. The It TV show. They made a TV show and they still didn't bring the turtle, although they keep talking about that turtle.
Joel, I think it's going to be okay. I think you're going to be okay.
I want to see a great big cosmic turtle, damn it. Anyway, okay.
Give this man a turtle.
Scheduling. What's coming up next for us? Next week, we're going to be talking about our pitches for the next Immortal Universe TV show. Then we're going to be tier ranking all of the Vampire Chronicles novels, minus the Prince Lestat trilogy, which we haven't talked about yet, and the Mayfair Witches books. We'll do all of those in one tier list episode together. All sorts of fun stuff. End of the month, right before Christmas Eve, you're going to get our patron feature episode. Everybody who joined the Children of the Millennia or higher of our patrons, they're going to be on the show. We're going to talk to them about their Anne origin stories. We're going to do some fun stuff with them. It's going to be a lot of fun. And every patron, including the free patrons, will get that episode on December 24th. They'll get that on Christmas Eve. So a little stocking stuffer from the Coven.
Yes.
All right, Ashley, until the next time we talk to you, we have been your hosts. I am Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Thank you for sharing this time with the Articulate Coven. Support the show as either a free or paid member at articulatecoven.com/join. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Find more from the Coven with our sister show, Flan Again, covering the works of Mike Flanagan.